All
If
right, we
we
should
do,
be back online. They say third time is a charm, so hopefully these things will work this time.
and
Can you say
we are
something
confident.
can you say something to confirm that I can hear you on Twitch?
Can you hear me on Twitch?
Perfect. Yeah, I can hear you on Twitch perfectly. I hope people on stream can also hear you. Let me. I didn't even have the time to tweet about this, so let me quickly.
I quickly retweeted the thing, but I mean, we can tweet
Perfect.
again.
Perfect. Let me do that right now. So I apologize for the delay. I apologize for all the technical issues. Let me quickly repost this. Okay. There we go. We're live. Paolo, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties that we had. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Thank you for having me. And I mean, I enjoy being able to help you with like searching, like trying my library because I'm eager to see how well it can help, especially someone like you said me that you don't have experience with SvelteKit. I mean,
Mhm.
probably you have some experience, but I crave feedback for my library. I hope everything will go well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I have some experience with Svelte, with I'll say vanilla Svelte, and
Mhm.
my last time using sort of server side rendering with Svelte was with Zapper. So before SvelteKit was a thing. So,
Yes.
and I know that they also recently, or maybe not so recently, but they changed the way routing works in SvelteKit. Is that right?
Yeah, it was pre 1.0, so it was
Mm,
quite a bit times ago. But yeah, I mean, it's quite changed, especially in regards of supper,
mhm.
but it's better.
Nice, nice, awesome. Yeah, I'm eager to learn about that, and I'm also very excited because we're going to be talking about view transitions, which is something that I really like. Um, I know that Svelte or SvelteKit recently added some sort of out of the box features to support view transitions. Can you
Yes.
tell us a bit about how that works?
Yeah. Okay. Basically, the thing that they had to add is a specific hook, which is on navigate, because
Hmm.
in SvelteKit there is a before navigate and an after navigate.
Hmm.
But the problem with before navigate was that basically before navigate runs before every load function. So in SvelteKit there is this concept of a load function, where basically you can load the data that you need inside your root inside the load function, and you get that as a prop basically from the page. And this is very powerful because obviously like it, just like the it allows you to load the data while it's like the page is loading, so you
Hmm.
don't have to wait for the page to load and then get the data from the server. You get the data from the server, and it's just like a get server side prop basically,
Right.
but much more nuanced. And the problem with before navigate is that it's a hook that it was called before this load function. So given how the transition works, that basically frees the page
Hmm.
to get a screenshot, the problem was that if your load function takes time, and it's probably taking time because obviously he has either reach for the database or do some API call, like it's probably the slowest part of your application. It was freed for a lot of time. And so they added another hook, which is called on navigate, which is instead is called right before the navigation happened. And it's also designed basically around the transition API because they wanted to support the transition API. So a lot like you can return a promise from on navigate,
Hmm.
and when that promise resolves, SvelteKit will actually navigate away. So you can actually do like what the transition needs to do. Like, okay,
Right.
you can start the promise, you can start the view transition, and when the view transition start, you can resolve the promise so that SvelteKit can handle the navigation.
Exactly. Okay, I got it. So um, the on navigate callback will execute after. the load function. Is that right? So you first
Exactly.
load your
After the
data.
load function,
Hmm.
but before the actual navigation happens.
Right. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, that makes sense. I've seen some discussions, with similar discussions, I guess, with Astro, when they were trying to figure out at which point should the navigation kick off, like immediately after someone clicks on the link, or should you wait until the next page is ready to be rendered? And it's also like it's a similar case, and it's what the browser does as well. Like by default, when you click on
Yes.
something and something takes some time to load, then you're still seeing the old page while
Mhm.
that link or that page loads, and then you transition or navigate to it, right? So yeah, that
Yes.
absolutely makes sense. um, I had a question about, so in this load function from Svelte, or
Mhm.
SvelteKit, I should say, there's you can also stream data, or stream the results
Yes.
of your page as it's loaded, right?
Yes.
have you
Yes.
have you worked with, or have you seen how that works with view transitions? If you're trying to, do you have to do it all at once, or
I
can you
actually
stream it?
never tried.
Hmm.
My guess is that, like, because the way streaming works is that you can start a promise on the server, so on the load function you can start a promise, and this promise is actually serialized in the sense that basically the whole HTML is streamed to the client,
Hmm.
and basically on the client, it's a new promise is created that gets resolved when the actual promise on the server is resolved. So when the promise resolve on the server, they send a little bit of JavaScript that resolve the promise on the client.
Hmm.
So I guess that probably it won't work, because unless you have something that is already there with a view transition, because like the on navigate will probably be called before the actual data arrives,
Right.
so it will probably not work unless you, like, you might probably, I'm thinking if there's a way to, I don't know, I have to test this out
it's
because
it's a it's a
I
tricky,
never
yeah,
tried.
it's a tricky case. It's not very common, I'll say, but
Like, for example, you can render, for example, an header, okay? So
hmm.
if the header is there even before the results from the load function, the view transition can happen, I
Right.
guess, very easily. If you need to transition to something that is used, like it's streamed,
Hmm.
I think that can be tricky to do,
Right.
because you would have to actually await the results on the other page and then apply the transition,
Right.
like finish the transition. So
And you have to, so I guess one thing that I've noticed with SvelteKit is that you have to call the start view transition method manually, right? I'm
yes,
comparing this with Astro, which is the other framework that I have experience with. Is that they handle that kind of under the hood, but with SvelteKit you kind of hook into this new event, and then you
yes,
have control over when you want to call the start view
yeah,
transition. Is that right?
absolutely, yeah. That's like kind of the trade-off that they decided to go toward,
Hmm.
basically. So they decided to go with a very low level hook. Okay, so you
Right.
just have a callback on when the navigation happens, and these allow you to have very fine-grained, um, like you can literally do something before the transition, during the transition, after the transition,
Hmm.
and that's basically what my library is aimed to solve. And I try to make everything so that you don't actually lose the flexibility that SvelteKit provide you, because I think having this kind of flexibility is very important, especially with view transition, because I in basically every time I use view transition, I had to do something before it start,
Hmm.
after it finished. So I tried basically with my library to abstract part of this, so the common use cases are handled by the library,
Right.
but uh, I also wanted to give you the ability to still execute code between all those phases.
Hmm. Nice. Perfect. So yeah, I've seen you. I haven't play with your library yet, but I've seen all the documentation. I find that you added a bunch of really, really nice features. It's a very nice abstraction on top of view transitions and the SvelteKit implementation. So I'm very excited to learn more about that. So let me pull that. Let me share the link to your library in the chat as well. I'm trying to find it on
Yeah,
your.
I tweet a bit. I mean, I can share it very quickly.
Trying to find it on your profile, but yeah, if you have it, I don't know if you have the Twitch chat open. If not, I can share it over Discord. Oh, perfect.
I
There we go.
should have, yeah, exactly.
Nice. So let me maybe open this here, and I guess it's let's switch to the share screen view. So here is a SvelteKit view transition. Really nicely documented README. I appreciate all the details that you added and your thought process around sort of your design decisions. It's very simple. It seems very simple to use. Like you simply import it and you call this function and you have it the feature enabled, right? Is that
Yes.
that's very nice. Perfect. So should we cover first how things work in SvelteKit, like vanilla SvelteKit in a way, or
Yeah,
think
I think
that
it
will be
can be
helpful?
useful.
Perfect. So what's the best place to do that? Should I open SvelteKit? I know they have some
I
sort
think
of. Oops, that's a blog post from Geoff.
I think you can go to kit.dev.svelte.
So nice. I know they have this tutorial. Is that something we can play with here in this tutorial?
Actually, not very much because
Okay.
like this is just like you're learning SvelteKit here.
Right.
But I mean, I'm gonna chill a bit because actually for the Svelte hackathon, me and Antonio Sarcevic
Mm-hmm.
built SvelteLab, which is a REPL for SvelteKit. So if you want, you can go there to
Nice.
try something. It's based on the web container for it's based on web container for like from StackBlitz, and it's a very quick way to integrate this. We are actually like we can try something here, but like we're actually this is a bit of a sneak peek because Snaffy, which is another winner of the Svelte hackathon,
Mm-hmm.
is actually working on SvelteLab to provide us with the Svelte language server. So we will get in a bit, like it's doing a ginormous work to make this work. So in a while we will get also autocomplete and sometimes like very very fun stuff. But I would still like if you have, I would probably just use the a VS Code. Like we can start a
Okay.
new project in VS Code so that we can have proper TypeScript IntelliSense and all of that. But if you want to try something on SvelteLab for the moment, just to check out a bit how it works, we can try it.
This is very cool. So I can install libraries and everything. Like I can install your library
Yes,
from here.
yes, you have the console here. I mean, you can also, if you want, there is a command palette. So if you do Command K,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and you
Oh,
can
that's
install a
amazing.
package.
Wow, that's really really nice. Amazing work.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's see if I can find this. SvelteKit view transition. Is that the name?
Yes. Transition
Transition.
with a
Perfect.
single.
Very nice. Seems to have worked.
Indeed.
Do you already have multiple pages here? Oh, I'm guessing.
No, this is a single root for the moment,
Mm-hmm.
but you can create a new root if you want, and there is a command for that. So if you do Command K and you search for create root,
Nice. Oh, I
here
love
you
this.
can create a new root and
So let's see. I know about page.
yeah, and then you can select which page you want to create. So a page Svelte, a page server. So basically, a page Svelte is what in the end will be rendered. So it's
Mm-hmm.
the Svelte component that will be rendered in that route.
Okay.
And these plus page.js and plus page.server.js, those are the load functions. The plus page.js is basically a universal load function. The plus page.js will run both on the server and on the client. This is a bit more flexible because you can return anything from it. So you can return a
Right.
component, you can return a promise, everything. And plus page.server.js will just run on the server. So that's the place, for example, if you have to access environment variables and other things.
Nice.
So,
So I
but
guess
like,
for now we only need like the page that's
yeah,
svelte. Is that
we
right?
can absolutely, yes.
Perfect. This is very very cool. And it creates a folder. Awesome. So what is this export data that I have here?
That's what will be populated with what you are returning from the load function. So if
Oh, okay.
you create a load function and return something that is JSON serializable or not, you will end up with that information inside your. So if you do plus page dot server dot js, and you here you can export load,
Oops.
export. I think, yeah, okay. Export function load.
Let me turn off Grammarly. It's gonna try to. Yes. There you go.
Export function load.
Load. Okay.
Yes. You get an event for like you get a parameter as a like here you have cookies, you have headers, some these things basically. But
Right.
the gist of it, you just need to return something. So if you return and
It can be anything. Can
you
be
can
any
return an
object.
object.
Yes.
Yes, from the server, it needs to be JSON serializable, obviously.
Right.
But for example, you can return data and return, I don't know, hello world.
I say
And,
hello
even just
world.
data something. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Data like hello world. There you go.
Yeah. And now you can access these on the plus page.svelte.
That will be my data here. So if I console
Yeah,
log.
if you console log data.data, you will get.
Oh, I need
Yeah,
to
you have
log in.
to
Okay.
log into. Yeah, but I mean, it automatically update. So if you there is a small search bar. If you do about here, you will see in the console hello
Ah,
world.
perfect. So this is running on the server. Is that right?
This is running both on the server and on the client.
Both on
So
the
you
server
will
and the client.
probably,
Okay.
yeah, because it will be server side rendered and then hydrated on the client.
So if I see the browser console, I should also see
You should also see
uh should be here hello world. Perfect. Yeah.
hello world.
It's very nice. Very very cool. Okay, so we have this about page. So let me copy some content. Let's say uh here I'm gonna say, so I don't have data name, but I can have data.data. It should be hello
Mm-hmm.
hello world. Uh, and let's say this is the about page. Hello world. So I have these two pages now. Page my about route and my home route.
Yes.
And I should be able to transition between these two, like with a. I guess how can we do the default fade in fade out transition
Yes.
with
Okay.
like
Well,
with
obviously you
vanilla
need.
SvelteKit?
Okay. Perfect. You need obviously you need a link to the about.
Yes, that will be helpful. So about there you go.
Okay. With vanilla, basically, like let's see that you can actually navigate there just for, and you can also close the. If you want, you can close the Svelte Lab supercharged repo for Svelte, so you can have a bigger preview.
Okay. So let me add a link back to the home here.
Yes.
There we go. So I can navigate back and forth between these two.
Okay.
Perfect.
So to have a view transition in SvelteKit, you need to import on Navigate I
Should I
think
do that
you
on my homepage or on the layout?
Okay, so basically the layout will wrap everything in your application. So you can
Hmm.
actually just do it once in the layout.
Okay.
The Obviously there are cases where you want a more fine-grained control over the on navigate. So you can actually execute the on navigate on every page. But let's start from the layout so that we can define it just one time.
Okay. Sounds
So
good.
you can import on navigate, and this is a named export,
Hmm.
and you can import that from $up / navigation.
Okay. Nice.
Okay, then you can call on navigate.
Oops.
Okay, this obviously takes a function.
Hmm.
Try to reload because, okay, it should work. I don't know why it's getting an internal error.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, try to uncomment that. It still works. Okay. So this on navigate takes a parameter as input, which is the navigation basically.
Hmm.
Um, and this
Here.
navigation, this navigation is an object that contains information on the navigation. So you can see from where you are navigating away to where you are navigating.
Hmm.
And there's also a complete promise, which basically uh, will resolve when the navigation is completed.
Right.
So if we return a promise from this on navigate hook, SvelteKit will await that promise before navigating. So you actually need to return a new promise, and you need to grab the resolve for this promise. So
Hmm.
okay. So now SvelteKit will actually await this promise before navigating, complete the navigation. So inside
Okay.
here, we can start the view transition basically. So you can do document.start view transition.
And I
And
guess what should be the if the browser doesn't support
yeah, if not document start view transition, just return. And
just
actually,
return?
you can do
Should I
this
resolve?
before. You can actually return this before returning the promise, so that
Oh, right.
like instead of returning inside the promise, you can just do it on the on navigate.
Perfect. Yeah.
So you start the view transition,
Hmm.
and then you can call resolve, so that basically SvelteKit can go ahead and finish the transition. And then you need to await the navigation.complete.
Here.
Yeah, exactly. So the whole view transition needs to be um, async,
Oh, this is
obviously.
async.
So this should work
Okay.
because
Let's try this out.
basically what's happening is that SvelteKit will call this function. So
Hmm.
it worked.
Nice.
SvelteKit will call this function, will receive a promise back. So we'll wait until you start the view transition, then you resolve. At this point, when you resolve, the view transition has already taken the screenshot of your page, basically. And then you await navigation.complete, so that basically this promise will be resolved when the navigation finish. And so
Right.
when the navigation finish, like the view transition API will take the screenshot of the new page and then do the fade out.
Okay. Okay. I see. I think I get this. So on navigate gets called when the navigation is about to happen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When
So
it's about to
when
happen, yeah.
like the first line gets called when you are still on the old page. So the load function of the new page is already being called,
Hmm.
but the navigation is still on the old page.
Hmm.
Then, given that you return a promise, SvelteKit will await this promise, and so it will block the navigation basically.
Right.
Then you start the view transition. So once you start the view transition, the browser takes a screenshot of your page. Then you resolve the function. SvelteKit go ahead and finish the navigation. When the navigation finish, the await navigation.complete resolve. And so the start view transition finish.
Hmm.
The view transition, the browser takes a screenshot of the new page and then fade between the two.
Right. Right. Okay. I see. I see. So let me let's try to do simulate. So first of all, let's see if we can. Um, I want to see if I can delay the animation, make it slower so that it's more
Yeah.
noticeable on screen. So let's do. I believe this should work. So if I do 3-second
Yeah.
3-second transition, this should be a very slow transition.
Yes.
And the other thing that I want to try is can I add, I'm guessing here on page svelte server, no server, this one. Can I add some like an artificial delay, like
Yes,
a
absolutely.
wait or something?
I mean, yes, absolutely. You can await the classic new promise, resolve, set timeout.
Right. So I guess this needs to be an async function.
Yes.
I can do await new promise. Set timeout resolve, and let's say 5 seconds or something.
Yes.
Perfect. So that.
If you try to log something after that, we should also see the log on the server, so on the console here, just to make sure that it's actually navigating.
Right. I can do data. Data finish.
Yes.
And I'm gonna do one before.
And I guess to actually visualize the fact that the page is not transitioning away, we should probably try to add some GIF, some videos on the page, because one of the
Right.
problem, one of the reason because they had to add on navigate was because otherwise the whole page will freeze for 5 seconds, and then it will basically navigate away. So if we add, for example, a GIF on the page, we should be able to see the GIF continuously moving despite the load function happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see. I'm reading a comment on the chat about someone complaining about SvelteKit transitions feeling too fast, too instantaneous. Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of things happen when you navigate from one page to the next, and you have this expectation of something taking time because it's doing work. But when you see those instantaneous things, it can give you the feeling that it's broken.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
I mean, when a form is too fast, I always save it 3 or 4 times.
right, exactly. So let's
Can
find
never be.
a GIF to add
You know
to.
what? I don't know if this will actually work. Like, I think you have to download these because unfortunately on web containers, inside web
Mhm.
containers, you cannot load external resources because there's a problem with the headers. So everything inside of a web container has to have a specific header for reasons of. But if you download this GIF and you can uh, bring it in SvelteLab,
Should I put it in the static folder? Is that where?
I think in static will work, but you can also, like, Vit allows you to also import assets directly, and
Okay.
it will be much better. So if you want, you can create a new folder inside lib, for example, or inside.
Oh, this is downloaded as a WebP. This is not gonna work. I need an actual. It's so hard to download an actual GIF these days.
Oh yes.
um, there is a link to the GIF that
Yeah,
I
but I mean,
can.
I actually remember something like if you open these, this will actually be like the via GIF. This is actually a page, but if you change media with an I, if you go to, instead of media.gif, should be I.gif. No,
Oh, sorry.
the first media. So
So
instead
this
of
one, hi the
media.gif,
GIF.
should be I.gif. I might misremember.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So they give me the actual GIF. Oh, nice. That's a nice. This is
Yes.
a very nice trick.
Yes.
Okay, let
Okay.
me. Yes, that's an actual GIF. Perfect. So can I drag and drop here, or should I?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. That's very cool. This
But
is
like just to be sure, create a new folder inside lib, for example.
inside live.
Yeah,
Uh,
like
so I call
assets.
this
I mean, you
assets.
can, yeah,
Okay.
and drag it here.
So let me put this here.
Okay, and then you can import in the
My
page.
page.
Yes,
There you go.
you can import GIF, for example, from, and you can use a shorthand like $lib
GIF
slash
assets.
assets slash gf.gif, I guess.
There you go.
And this is basically the URL to the GIF, so you can do emg as source.
So like that. Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Let's do an alt as well. Say
Yeah, because otherwise Svelte will complain. I love this feature of Svelte. Like, if you
yes.
don't put an alt, Svelte will actually complain about. So,
Yeah.
okay, so if we try to move to about, we should see the GIF not moving.
Oh, and I see that as soon as I hover over the data started loading. That's very
Yes,
cool.
absolutely. This is another very cool feature of SvelteKit, which
Hmm.
basically preload the data on hover. So
Very nice. Very nice. So I guess if I click this now, I should see the animation right away.
yes,
Yeah, I should see the transition right away. Nice. So let's try that again, but I'm gonna be quicker on my click. So yeah, it's waiting because I have
yes.
that delay, and then it it transitions. Very nice.
But the interesting fact is that the GIF is playing all the time until you actually do the navigation. So
Right.
that's the reason why they need to add the on navigate hook.
Right. Exactly. And in this case, the so when I navigate back, I see the GIF continue to play. Like it plays all the time. Like it plays while the transition is happening. Which I guess it's a
Yes.
difference between like the before screenshot and the after screenshot, which is that the after screenshot is
Yes,
an
because
actual live.
the
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. The after screenshot from the view transition. This is actually the correct behavior for the view transition API,
Hmm.
because the after is actually a live representation of the DOM, while the before is a screenshot. So if
Right.
you have something that is moving there, it will actually be freeze.
Right. Right. Perfect. Okay. So this is yeah, this is great. I see, but I see that this is sort of like a lot of work for like a something that's very common. You almost always want to do the same thing. Like you
Yes.
almost always want this exact same code
Yes.
snippet, and that is one of the things that your library kind of optimizes for. Like that as an
Yeah.
abstraction on top
Exactly.
of this. So
Exactly.
how can we refactor this to use SvelteKit view transition?
So you can just import set up view transition,
So I
uh,
don't need the on
and do
navigate
the
anymore, I guess.
yeah, exactly.
Uh, it's a default
It's
like
it's a named.
okay.
Yeah,
Start.
I
Oh
always export named things. I kind of set
yes.
up the transition.
Oh, set up view transition. So let me go. Yeah, let me refer to the docs from
SvelteKit view transition.
SvelteKit view transition. Perfect. So I guess I don't need
Okay.
all of this. Just gonna comment that
Yes,
out.
exactly. And you can just do set up view transition.
And that's it. So let me
Yes.
refresh here. Oh, I'm getting
Let me see. I think you need to restart the server.
okay.
Um, like do Control C here and do npm run dev.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, seems to be working. So let's do it again. We have the artificial delay. And yeah, perfect. Very nice.
Like the one of the main thing that because obviously this is very simple. Like you could, in theory, if you just want the basic transition, you
Hmm.
can just do this inside the layout and give it a go. Like, okay, you do it once in your project and you are fine because
Hmm.
every transition happen automatically. But the thing, like the reason why I created this library is because actually there is a lot of cases where you want a specific behavior to apply.
Hmm.
So you don't want, for example, you want to add a class when you are going back to the homepage, or for example, you want to add a specific class right before it navigates, because that's another thing. For example, I think actually you shared this trick with me. Like you actually, when you had a lot of images inside a page, you say that you had to uh, like you being required to use an intersection observer to
Hmm.
actually add the view transition name on a specific image. uh, I get this bubble.
That's very cool.
But I mean, I can even do this.
There you go.
You are required to set up a specific set of instruction just to add a specific class in a specific moment,
Hmm.
just to make things work. So my library also helps you with that.
Nice, nice. Uh, do you have something? So I guess we could build some mini app to recreate to some of those scenarios where we can use some of these features. But do you have an example already that we can you can
There
share?
are a couple of examples in the repository,
Hmm.
and I think there
Nice.
is also some link to them in the in the documentation. So if you scroll down,
All right.
there should be a section about examples. Here
Oh,
we go.
perfect.
There are a couple of examples. So, for example, this is SvelteGram or link and details. So,
All right. Let me open the live demo. SvelteKram.
and this is actually better uh, in mobile layout.
Okay. Let's see. Let's do
So,
that.
I try to recreate something a bit more like Instagram, basically. So
Nice.
there are a couple of transition here. So if you click on an image, you can see the detail of that image, and obviously the image transition
Hmm.
to this point. Um, you can also click on SvelteGram to go back to the home page if you are,
Right.
and then you can open the stories.
That's
And
a
this
very cool
basically,
transition. Yeah.
and it also like it moves between stories automatically, and then you can go back and
Oh,
it will.
nice. Let's wait. Yeah. Perfect. And I see that you have two actually. There are a bunch of interesting things in this transition that so let's see if we move to the next. Nice. I see that you have the avatar moving to the top right, and then you
Yes.
have the image sort of expanding, and I guess the rest of these UI elements sort of fading, right?
Yes.
That's very cool. Let's see if we can debug that. I'd love to kind of pause the
And
animation.
also I want to like I recently added another feature to this library, um, because there was a tweet by Ryan Florence,
Hmm.
one of the creator of Remix, and he actually said something very interesting. And the fact that in all the demos on Vue Transition,
Hmm.
uh, if you, for example, if you scroll down a bit on the list of images and you open this image,
Right.
if you then click on SvelteGram, uh, you will go back to the top of the list.
Hmm.
Now, if the transition should still apply, like if the transition apply, you will see the image basically fly out of the viewport
Right.
because it will go back to his place inside the list. And this is not actually a very good experience. So I recently added, like, it's very simple now with my library. If you go back
Mm-hmm.
if you go back, the screen, like the image will still be in the viewport.
Right.
But a thing that I recently added to this library is basically it's an helper. So when you need to apply the transition when you go back, you get basically the information about if the image, like the element that you're trying to transition to, is still in the viewport or not. So if it is not in the viewport, you can avoid apply the transition. And this basically allows you to avoid apply a transition that will make something fly out of the screen.
Nice. Nice. So I'm guessing. So you have this should apply. Uh,
Exactly.
I guess this is a call. It takes a. It's a function.
Yes.
Is that what you use to define that behavior?
It's actually the apply immediately.
Apply
I
immediately. Okay.
think naming can be improved here. I actually, because the problem is that, okay, basically should apply is when you are navigating away from a page, and basically these allow you to avoid the intersection observer thing. So when you like, if you return false from should apply,
Mm-hmm.
that transition name will not be applied to that element. And this basically allows you to have the same transition name on all the images and only apply that transition name to the specific image that you are navigating to. So,
Right.
for example, here I can check if I'm going to the image with the ID of the transition of the current image.
Mm-hmm.
And if basically this function return true, then I will apply the transition to that image, and obviously the browser will move the image. That
Right.
apply immediately works on the other side, basically. So given that the transition name is not applied immediately when you load the page, but is applied just on the navigation, apply immediately allows you to have the back transition, to make the back transition work. Because if apply immediately return true, then the transition name is applied when you're navigating to that page. So when you're navigating from a page with a detail, for example, to a
Mm-hmm.
page with a list, apply immediately. If you return true from apply immediately, you can get a transition from the detail to the list.
Okay.
If you return false from apply immediately, you will not get a transition. So inside apply immediately, for example, you can check if the image is in the viewport. And if it's not in the viewport, you return false. So there are no elements
Right.
with that V transition. And so the image will just fade away.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's very cool. That's very cool. And I, I like your that design decision of not encouraging like adding view transition names to all the elements on the page,
Yeah.
and to
This
only
is
add them as needed. Yeah.
I also like cited the the tweet about Jake Archibald, which is
Mm-hmm.
honestly the main mind behind the transition API,
Yes.
that said that you should only apply a transition when the element is actually participating in the transition, because obviously it's a lot of work for the browser to take a separate screenshot of all the elements with a view transition, and then actually most of them is wasted. And so you can apply a transition just to the things that matter, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. There's a it's a big performance hit on pages that have too many elements that have a view transition name. So yeah, I love that. And I love that we provide all of this callbacks or these hooks so you can kind of customize the behavior for each one of those transitions. That's very nice. So we didn't cover sort of any of this. Do you have this custom directives? Is that how you call them in SvelteKit, or
It's an action.
an action? Okay.
Yes.
Um, you have this actions which I they look somehow similar to the ones that I'm used to working with Astro, where you define a name, and
Mhm.
then you have this other sort of hooks that we were
Yes.
just talking about. Should we look at an example? Should I look at the source code of Svelgram, or what's the
Sure,
best
if
place to
you
showcase that?
yes, we can do it. There is also there is literally an example folder. Um, and
Okay.
also, if you want, you can open that on SvelteLab too.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, let's do that. Can I?
Actually, I think the only problem there is that you cannot load the images. So, but if you want, you can try to open the other in SvelteLab list
This
and
one?
details.
Okay.
Yes.
Very nice. Very nice project. All right. So I see. Okay, so you have some details.
Yeah. Okay. The images are not loading even there. Oh, that's a shame because
That's
uh,
yeah. I'm guessing we,
yeah,
we can add some images. So these are load. The problem is that they're being loaded from an external sort of
yeah, exactly.
server, right?
I mean, if you want, you can just literally download this project and run it locally, and it should work. There's also like you can clone it if you want, but also on SvelteLab there is a download command that you
Okay.
can
Yeah, let's do that.
use.
So
So if you do Command K, or you
oh,
can
okay,
and you do download,
download.
it will download a zip file.
Very nice. So let me open that up, and let's open that in a code editor. Yes. All right. So do I need to run, I guess, npm install here first?
Yes.
And oh, I love the zero vulnerabilities. I'm not used to that at all. Um, and npm run dev. Let's smooth this out of the way. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so what's the port is 5.
Yeah, that's the standard Vite one.
Ah, gotcha.
Okay, now it's
Nice.
working.
Very cool. Very cool. I like it. So, and I guess this all have this nice shared element transitions.
Yes,
Very
and
cool.
also like if you try to search something inside the list,
Search jacket.
it will also have the transition.
Oh, I see. It has a. Oh, nice, nice. So maybe let's search for casual. Oops, it's too fast. I see that they're fading in. Oh, they're also
Yeah,
moving. Yeah.
yeah. Basically, like I added three kind of transition, like the entry transition
Mm-hmm.
that should fade out, if I remember correctly. Uh, like if the element stays on the page, it will move, and if it will disappear from the page, it will fade out.
Very nice. Very nice. Love it. Love it. So let's look at some code here.
Yes.
Uh, I'm guessing. Let's see. Where should I look at? Should I look at the page that's felt?
Yes, it's probably
Okay.
the best place to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So there is like this is also I mean the transition will not work, but something that I'm really proud of about Svelte and SvelteKit is that it really help you with progressive enhancement. So
Mm-hmm.
this whole application will actually just work without JavaScript.
Very
Even the
nice.
search, like obviously it will not be automatically, but if you disable JavaScript, you can use this application fine, very fine.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's try that. Oops.
Oh, I also have some logging which should not be there. I have to approve.
All right, so I have JavaScript disabled.
Yes.
Let's see, that should be in sources. I don't know what that. Yeah, JavaScript
Okay.
disabled. and this continues to work. Perfect. And the search as well, you said. Can
Yes, obviously you don't have the automatic search, but if you
right, have
press
to actually
enter or
submit, but it works.
yes,
Very
exactly.
nice. Very cool, very cool. I love it.
And I can't wait to implement view transition without JavaScript too. So
Yeah,
obviously today is behind a flag, but it would be very very cool.
absolutely. Yes. Uh, uh, so let me enable. That's not one open. Enable JavaScript again. There we go. Perfect.
Okay. So
I see.
basically,
I see
like
the console logs here.
yes, basically the whole gist of it is that whenever you need to apply a transition, you can call setup the transition, and you will generally do that in the script tag, and then
Hmm.
you get back from that function, you get back transition,
Okay.
um, and this transition you can apply to whichever element you want. Like
Right.
so, in this case, for example, I use this transition on the li inside the ul of the products.
Hmm.
So we are loading the products from the server, then we are displaying the products inside our page,
Hmm.
and then we are using the transition. The name is based on the actual URL. So um, I cannot remember why I did this. Uh,
So if it's navigating to the same URL, it
oh
looks
yeah,
like.
okay, yes, exactly. So basically, this is because you can either search or go to the other page. So basically, the name is conditionally applied based on the fact that you are searching, and so the path name is the same. So if you
Right.
remain on the same page, every product will have a product slash product ID, like product dash product ID transition name,
Hmm.
so that it can basically slide around. Uh, while if you are moving from one page to the actual detail, it will have a wrapper transition name
Gotcha. I see.
because that's the transition name that it's used inside the detail page. So if you go to the plus page.svelte inside the details root, you can see, I mean, I am actually
Details.
just exactly. So I'm using transition wrapper
Hmm.
that will apply the wrapper transition name to
Hmm.
that article. And so the li is basically transitioned to the article,
Yes.
but it will have a transition name of wrapper only if it's moving away from the page. If it's staying on the same page, it will get another transition name, which
Right.
is product underscore ID.
Let me go back here. Gotcha. So yeah. So this is searching is a type of navigation when you search. So if you're searching, you want to make sure that you animate all of them, and that's why you're adding
Exactly.
that the unique
Because
ID.
basically the search is actually just a get request from a form. So
Hmm.
it will navigate to a form with a different search params. And so if the path name is the same, it means that we are searching something. And so I actually use product uh, dash product ID to make
Hmm.
sure that every product that is in the same page will get shift around.
Right. And if I understand this correctly, your items they don't have a transition name by default. It only gets applied
Exactly.
at the point that the navigation is about to happen,
Exactly.
and that is done by should apply or
Should
apply
apply.
should apply. Okay.
Should apply. So should apply is for forward navigation basically. So
Hmm.
at the same thing basically. If the navigation is from URL path name to URL path name, so if it's on the same page, always apply the transition.
Right.
if it's not on the same page, apply the transition only when the page you are navigating to has the ID of this product.
Right. Exactly. So
So
so let's look at this. If I were to search, so let me pause the navigation here. If I search something, I should see view transition name applied to all of them.
exactly.
I can see here product 2, product 3, and that's why they kind of they all move around and fade in
And
and
fade
fade out.
out and fade in.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But if I navigate, I should only see the view transition name on the element that I'm navigating away from.
Yes. And actually, I think this is already the new page.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the view transition API is not smart enough to freeze the page for the moment, but I mean, not the view transition API. Like the view transition debugging is not advanced enough for the moment.
And is that something that I can debug here on?
I guess like whenever I try to debug view transition in JavaScript, I always have a bad moment because actually I think if it takes too long, the browser will actually stop the view transition.
Right.
So
Yes.
it will actually fail the transition if it takes too long.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I think most of the time it actually froze my browser for some reason. So I stopped doing that. And that's why the console logs.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I'm trying to. I lost my debugger. So this is okay. So this is before I am returning. But if
Yes.
I step, uh, where are my steppers?
I think are under the
Oh, there you go.
files.
If I step here, I should see a console log. 1 through 1. Where are we logging here? Oops, I lost my. We're logging
The ID.
the ID, if it's the same ID that I'm navigating to, and the
The
ID
ID of the
of the
product.
product. So, and that's why it says true. So it will apply to this.
Yes,
To this.
exactly.
But if I go to the next one, if I step, this is the second one, and I should see a
Yes.
false here.
Yes.
Right. So if I step in, yeah, we see false. And now at this point, the DOM should be updated. So I should see a view transition.
Apply to the li.
Not seeing it, but that might be. Yeah,
It
that might be
should have.
some. It could be, or I'm guessing it could happen is that maybe there's some batching that Svelte does that it will only apply it at the time that this finishes running. Because it
It's
works,
actually
right?
strange. Yeah, it works. Obviously, luckily it works.
Yeah, we'll see that. Yeah, nice.
Yes,
But yeah,
I have.
makes sense.
I'm also really proud of my rating.svelte component.
This components.
Yes.
Let's look at that. Oh wow, it's very.
Basically, I just print out 5 stars and I grayscale ones, the ones that are not.
It's very cool. Very nice. I love how I love how concise Svelte files usually are. There's
Yes.
nothing here that I don't understand or that I just need to figure out what it is. This is all very nice.
Yeah, that's why I love Svelte too. Like it's basically just HTML with
Amazing.
superpowers.
Okay,
Sorry.
so we covered that. We covered the back navigation with apply immediately, so that it only applies to this one.
There's actually like I don't know if it's here. Let me see. Try to go to the details component.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Go on the script tag. No, okay, I guess no. No, okay, no. In this example, there's no a back navigation
Hmm.
because it happens automatically, basically. But one interesting thing that you can do is also apply a class to the body, to the root, conditionally, to figure out if it's a back navigation or not. So, for example, for more complex animation, and I think we can actually, if you want, we can actually try something very fast.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Here on this example.
I don't know if maybe it's easier to just create something very fast. It
Okay.
should not be too difficult.
Can we use
Um,
our previous example, or should we
I
start
guess,
from
I
scratch?
guess yes.
Okay.
Okay, we can use it. I would like in the layout try to
Hmm.
create like 5 random links to something like so. I would actually use an array. So create an array, and we can set up basically a list of pages. So we can create home, about, contacts, and
Okay.
you
So
can even do a list of string. Okay.
this should be like routes like that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes. So create
Oops.
3 or 4 of these.
Let's do about profile and I don't know, blog. All right.
Okay. To do something very easy, you can just loop over each link. So you can do an each, and if you want, you can also use some snippets that we provide. So if you
Okay.
do s dash, there is
Each
each or each UL.
HUL. Ah, very nice.
Okay, and you can do each links as link.
Here. Oh no.
No, instead of item. Okay.
Link. Okay.
Okay, and the key probably should be link.path. So
All right.
okay, and now print a tag basically.
Oh, instead of here.
Yeah, exactly. A
So this will be
href,
my.
and the href will be the link.path exactly,
Mhm.
and link.name inside. Okay, so
Let me
this
refresh it.
should be okay.
Yeah.
This should get us basically some basic, and this will be on every route, okay, because this
Right.
is in the layout. So let's create a new route. Let's remove the about. We can delete the about page.
Okay. Let's let me also have that delay. So I remove the whole folder.
Yes, you can
Okay.
delete.
Delete that. And let me
Okay,
remove this as well. Let me comment out this too. Oh, let's leave it at 1 second so that's easier to debug.
okay. So if we then like create a new route from with the command,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can create a route from like I can remember the English word, square bracket,
Okay. Double square bracket or just
double square bracket, page, for example, double square bracket, close it.
like that?
I can't see very well, but I guess yes. I trust you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, we have to remove the page plus page dot svelte that we created because it can conflict because the double square brackets means that it's an optional parameter. So we have to remove that.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will not work. We have to remove the plus page dot server dot js too.
All right.
Okay. Now, if you reload the page, okay, everything works. Now,
Nice.
the easiest thing that we could do just to just show an H1,
Okay.
and then you can, if you import instead of export let data, you can import page, and it's a named import
Oops. Page.
from $up/stores. Okay, and then inside the H1 you can print out basically the $page dot params dot page, and then you can close the. So
Nice.
here basically we get the page. So and maybe you can also do something like or home, so that at least we
Right.
get.
Gotcha. Very nice.
Okay, so we have this basic setup where we can move it between those 4 pages basically.
Mm-hmm.
So let's add a view transition here. So in the layout.svelte you can. Oh, we already have a
We
setup
already
view
have that.
transition.
Yes.
Yeah. So then from the setup view transition you can get you can destructure classes, which is a function. Now if you call these classes,
Right here.
basically these, yes, exactly. And I mean, before doing that, let's see the normal behavior. Okay, so let's create some fun view transition. So in the global.css we can create a view transition that goes from the left to the right. So I think you already did this a lot of time, but basically you can create a new keyframe.
Mm-hmm. Like a slide.
A
Sort
slide,
of.
exactly.
Okay.
Personally, the way I like to create these things is with CSS variable. So I will go from, and then you can apply transition. No, transition, sorry.
Translate.
Transform.
Transform. Yeah, that's it.
Translate X, and then you can do var dash dash from, and the 2 is translate X.
I guess will be.
It's the same exactly. Dash dash 2.
Oops. Nice.
And so then we can do view transition new.
View transition new.
Yeah, view transition.
View transition new.
I think root, it's okay. And we can set up basically the variable that we will be used. So the view transition new will go from I guess it will start from 100% and it will go to 0.
Right.
And the old should be from 0 to negative 100%.
To negative 100%. Okay.
Yes. So now if we do this, and
so we need to apply the slide to both
yes, obviously,
new and old.
yes, exactly.
Right. So view. Well, I guess I can do it here in each one of this.
I mean, you can do it in the group, I guess.
Oh, in the group, yes. Let's do animation slide and do 1s is in out.
Okay, so if we try it now, it should, like the whole view should slide.
Oh, still using the default.
Let me see. Are we importing the global CSS? I think no.
Oh, that's right, because we had it in the. Oh yeah.
No, we are importing it.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Should I? We're still calling setup view transition.
Yes.
I'm not using classes. I don't think that.
Yeah, no,
matters right now. Okay.
we will use it in later on.
Okay.
Um, I
So
mean, it's applying it. I don't know if it's actually try to remove. I don't know. Try to do image pair instead of group.
oh, so
Try to set this animation on every
on both the new and the
transition.
old.
Yeah.
So let me comment that out. I'll do that after, I guess. I don't know if that matters. Oh, there we go.
Yes. Okay.
Nice.
And we can also just that we are at it, use recovered also the transition from in the layout belt. Uh, get
Here.
the transition function, and then you can use transition header on the header. So on the UL, you can do use colon transition equal, and you need curly braces, but you can just pass a string because we just want to apply that. So you don't need to pass the complex object. You can just use a string.
A string here. Oops.
Yeah, with one less
Oh,
curly braces.
there you
Yes.
go.
So now basically just the body should move.
Yep. Nice.
Okay. But obviously, it's always from the left to the right.
Mm-hmm.
So here's where classes can become interesting, because what you can do is call classes,
Okay.
and this will get a function. So you can call this function, and this function can basically get the navigation object in. So you can destructure navigation. You have to destructure it because it also takes other things.
Oh,
So you have to destructure navigation.
okay.
And what we can do is the navigation contain the information from where we are, like the to and the from.
Yes.
So what we can do is we can check the to, and we can check the from, and we can see where those items are in the list of links. Okay, so
Right.
recover the to, so you can do const to. And I mean,
Oh.
it's a new variable, and this
Mm-hmm.
is navigation dot to dot params dot page. So this will get us basically the page, what we are showing inside the new page, so profile or blog or
Mm-hmm.
about, uh, of when we are, this is where we are going.
Right.
Recover also the from, so that we can get we get
Oops.
this. We need to get this from navigation.from, and now we can search these inside the links array. So you can find the index, for example. So
So
to index, for example.
do I need to define this before, I guess? Or
Uh,
oh no, it
uh,
shouldn't matter, right?
it should not. It should not matter.
Okay. So links dot find index
Yes.
of I guess link.
Yes, and we can find link dot.
I think called path
Yes,
is
it's
equals
equal
to
to, and I guess we are just getting the page, so you should do it like a string literal with slash, and then to, or nullish coalescence. Uh, I guess, yeah, empty string. It should be fine.
so give me the to index.
Yes, and you can do the same for the from index.
From index. Okay.
Okay, now if from index is greater than to index,
Mm-hmm.
you can return an array with back, a string back. So what is doing this is basically if the element is after, like for example, if you're navigating from home to about,
Mm-hmm.
it will return anything. But if you're navigating from about to home, it will return back. And this means that during the transition, the root will have the back class. And so this
Okay.
means that we can target that in our CSS
And that gets applied to the body of the or the HTML class
to the root, to the HTML.
to HTML. Okay, perfect.
So you can just do, for example, dot back view
And
transition new. So it's like you are targeting the view transition new when
right.
the root has the back classes applied. And I think this needs to be attached, like it needs, because both the back and the view transition new are on the HTML, on the root element. So it's without the
Oh,
space.
the same. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you can set up basically the from and to. So when we are going back, you are going from negative 100% to 0.
And from the old. Oh no, that's it. Right. That's what we need to do.
No, you also need the
Oh,
old
I need the
because
old. Yes. Yes.
yes.
And I guess it should be to positive 100%.
Um, I think it's like the old should move from 0 to 100%. Yes, it should work. And so
Okay.
now if we try to move, for example, to home, it will slide this way.
Ah, nice. If I go forward, I navigate to like it slides in from the right, but if I go back,
Yeah.
it slides in from the left. Nice. Very cool.
And
Very cool.
yeah, this is, I think, like this is something that I am quite proud of because I think it's like this is one of the more mind-bending thing about the view transition API, like the fact that you need to apply a class, and also the important thing is that it will not clutter your HTML because as soon as the transition finishes, the class will be removed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also
Very yeah. This looks very very helpful. Very nice.
like doing these without my library. I think it would have been a bit difficult.
It's definitely. I think I tried in my very first demo of view transitions where I used this was before Astro had built-in support, and I was using the navigation API as my
Mhm.
client side router, and yeah, it was a pain. It's definitely a pain. I believe there is some open issue on GitHub on the whatever's the repo that we're discussed. All these things about view transitions are discussed.
Yeah,
Where
I think it's the WSIG. I can
yes,
never remember the acronym.
yeah, exactly. Me neither.
I love the fact that we developers like fight for having declarative variable names, but then use acronyms all over the place. And sometimes like I listen to conversation and I understand nothing because they are just basically letters. And then actually I like okay.
yeah, and all of these web sort of organizations that handle like the web, they all start with W. So they have the W3C and
Yes,
the
yeah.
the WHITG, like all of those. It's very confusing. But yeah, there is a discussion open about the adding, I believe, built-in support for at least having some sort of flag to know if you're navigating back and forward. But I guess that will be just for like the browsers back and forward buttons,
Yes,
but not really for
yes.
your in-app navigation.
Yes, I guess yes. Also, like one interesting thing about that, I actually subscribe to the issue because I think it's I want to get notified about this. Is the ability that they are thinking to add the ability to have some sort of view transition class because, for
Yes.
example, this is very important because the reason why in my example I could have moved all the things around inside when you search.
Yes.
I could have I could have done that because I was like animating all the things inside the page.
Hmm.
So that's why I was able to move everything around, because otherwise I would have, like, given that every product has its own view transition name, in this
Hmm.
case product 1, product 2, product 3, without without having a catch-all, I could have not done it. But
Yeah.
if I have something, like if I need to animate something in a certain way and something else in a certain way on a page where I also want, for example, every product to scramble around, it's very difficult to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's the main feedback that I've seen for view transitions, and something that I've struggled with as well, which
Yes.
is very
And I
hard.
actually, like,
Yeah.
I'm writing, I mean, this is kind of a spoiler, but I'm writing the presentation because I will be presenting these on this library on the Svelte London meetup, the 25th of
Very
October.
nice.
If you are in London, come join us. Um, and I will be presenting this library. And again, small spoiler. I hope I will not spoil anyone that it will be coming here. But I'm writing my slides using my library. So I'm actually writing uh, uh, an application that use view transition
Hmm.
to as a slide deck, basically. And I come across this very situation. Like, I wanted to animate something, a list of things that can move every
Hmm.
time, but at the meantime I also wanted other kind of animation, and I actually found a way to do that in SvelteKit. So,
Very
like,
cool.
kind of, it's kind of cheaty because actually I basically I'm using string interpolation to add a specific view transition inside the page.
Hmm.
So I know that the next thing that should move is the view transition for the product 10, and I add view transition product 10 with the specific animation.
Ah, I see. I see. Very, very nice. Very clever.
And I see, like, Antonio asking if anyone has checked out Animotion for slides, and yes, it's very cool. Like, Animotion, it's a library from Mattia from Joy of Code, uh,
That's
and
not it.
it's I think if you try Animotions belt, yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's a Svelte library. Okay. Animation
Yes, I mean, yeah,
Svelte.
it's a Svelte library, but it's actually using Remotion under the hood, which is a very cool
Ah, gotcha.
animation. Very, very cool. And Mattia is it's a wonderful content creator, and it's very present in the Svelte community.
Very
Um,
nice.
yeah, this is very, very cool. We also have a template for it on Svelte Lab, because in Svelte Lab we have a bunch of templates. So you can start a project with JavaScript, you can start a project with TypeScript and Tailwind, you can start a Trelt project very, very quickly, and you can also start an Animotion template, an Animotion project.
Very cool. Very cool. Uh, all right. Pablo, anything else you want to share with us before we wrap up? I think we cover a bunch of features from your library. Yeah, like
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
it's a very simple library, but I
mhm.
think it does his job. So
No, it's very nice. It's very nice, and yeah, it's definitely a very nice abstraction. A lot of really nice utilities and hooks that you can use to customize the animation. So again, fantastic job on this. I'm very excited for this
yeah,
library.
I mean, I invite everyone to try this out, not just because I want my library to be tried, but because I want feedback. Like,
Hmm.
I want to see if this is actually powerful enough, like flexible enough. So, like, the main thing I'm concerned is that it should be really flexible. I don't want to, like, close close the wings of SvelteKit, because SvelteKit gives us a very powerful API for view transition because it's very low level, so you can do everything you want.
Hmm.
And one thing that we did not mention, but I mean, I also feel like it's not very important is that the flexibility is given the fact that the setup view transition also return a on function, and you can target basically every moment of the view transition API. So if you go to on, exactly,
Mhm.
basically you can um, you can pass
I see the events
some
before start
exactly.
view
There are
transition,
events
before navigation.
before starting
Yeah.
the transition, before navigation complete,
Hmm.
after navigation complete, when the transition is ready, when update callback is done, and when the transition is finished.
That's amazing. I run into cases where I want when I navigate from one page to the next, and I have something that it's playing and maybe has a little exit animation, and I want that to finish before kicking off. So knowing these steps in the innovation, knowing that a transition is about to happen, it's very very helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like in you could in theory like run this function, add an hook on before navigation start with a promise, and when the promise resolve,
Hmm.
it finishes. So you can actually wait to start the transition before
Right,
the actual navigation start.
right. Very cool, very cool. Uh, yeah. So check out SvelteKit View Transition. Give feedback to Paolo. You can reach. What's the best way to reach out to you? I guess on
Yeah, probably on Twitter.
Twitter. Follow Paolo on Twitter or x.com.
No, no,
Today
it's Twitter.
today I found myself for the very first time trying to open Twitter, and I actually like opened the new tab and I typed X instead of T.
Oh, it's
So
the,
I it's
the rebranding is actually coming.
it's happening. It's happening. Yeah. Um. So, Paulo, thank you so much for joining us. This
Thank you
was
for
a
having me.
yeah, this was a big pleasure, and apologize again for all the issues in the beginning. um,
Yeah, I mean, it's rough. It's not easy, but it's not a problem. In the end, we figure it out.
we figured it
And
out. So yeah, well, that's a stream. Thank you, everyone who joined, and this will be up on YouTube at some point this week. So yeah, see you next time.
thank you very much. Bye,
Bye, folks.
guys.